there's a thin line between help and hindrance. Thin line between help and hindrance. You know, a person could be wanting to provide someone with assistance in meeting their financial obligations or accomplishing any goal or task, really. If you're trying to help somebody who has a problem with being able to take care of their financial obligations, then for one, there's probably need to be a moment in which the reason that keeps that person from being able to meet their financial obligations, there's a moment in which that situation needs to be addressed, identified and addressed. Because if you simply give a handout, and no matter how well-intentioned it is, but doing it repeatedly, and especially without inquiring about why the need keeps arising, will only enable that person to remain in that same situation or that same thought process that, what are you doing, man? It keeps them making the same types of decisions. You see? Now, quite possibly, if they were not able to get that assistance, if they couldn't count on you giving that help, then they would obviously have to do something different. Something different. And where that something would immediately correct the problem or not, we don't know. But what we do know is that they would have to do something different. And what we do know is that if they don't do something different, then they're going to be in a continuous cycle in which they need help, meeting their obligations. And if it goes on long enough, then it's just like repeating any other action over and over where it becomes a habit, that they're going to probably actually have they're going to probably actually have a hard time thinking their way out of the situation. And if you are the person that is continuing to provide assistance, I'm going to tell you that it can actually put you in a predicament in which that person expects you to be there and bail them out like clockwork over and over again. And that's not where it ends. If that goes on long enough, not only will they expect you to provide that assistance, they will begin to internalize a strange entitlement complex. Whereas this situation has been ongoing for so long that they have actually come around to the mindset of feeling like they're entitled to this assistance. And if it's not there, then something is wrong. They're being treated unfair, and that's obviously that's ridiculous. But do you notice what has happened? What began as a move to help a person in need has ended up hindering them from developing a mindset in which they are able to become independent and provide for themselves. You see what I'm saying? So there is a thin line between help and hindrance. Now this is the same problem you encounter with any welfare system. You see, when you talk about giving somebody money or helping them with the bill over and over and over and over, that's exactly what it is, welfare. So, as easy as it may be, I mean, and that's only if you got plenty of, if you got the resources in order to continue to do that, it's easy. But if it's a strain on you to do that, that's not even easy. But that is the simplest way if you have the resources to address that situation. But it's not the best way to address it. And it's not a solution to solving the problem. You're dealing with the symptoms of the problem. One of the elements of the problem is the way that person, obviously, is the way that person thinks. Otherwise, because, okay, you're going to say, no, it might just be that the person needs this, or the person is, can't get a good job, or they can't get this, or can't get that, or blah, blah, blah. Well, he's still talking about the way they think, because that means the person needs to get more education and training to better position themselves. So he's still talking about the way they think. Well, they can't do this, that, or the other because they got kids. Well, it's still what they're doing with kids, and you don't have money to support yourself or yourself and the kids. Well, they go back to another argument that I brought up, where people think that it's okay to just have kids and not have sufficient funds to be able to raise those kids. Well, they had money and had a job, this, that, the other, whatever, and had money before they had kids, but something happened and lost a job, this, that, the other. Well, you never put all your eggs in one basket. When you have a good job and everything is going right, you don't expect that just to be an ongoing and continuous situation. You take advantage of that situation, you set aside, you get training, you expand your knowledge, you make yourself more marketable so that if anything goes wrong, you can benefit from being proactive. And, I'm not saying that the person is wrong for needing to develop a more complex way of thinking. Most of us need to develop a more complex way of thinking so that we're proactive in doing some things to protect ourselves, from emergencies and everything. All I'm saying is that is what needs to be addressed and not just money handed out. But if you look at the people who are enslaved in the welfare system, they probably need to do some things to better position themselves so that they won't be so dependent upon the welfare system, so that they can start doing some things to put themselves as an individual in a better position in life so that they can escape slavery. That's what being the recipient of a handout is. And the longer you are a recipient of a handout, the thicker, bigger the set of chains that are around your wrists and ankles. You know what I mean? And the longer you remain enslaved, then the more your mind starts generating thoughts from that perspective. And the more you are confined to that box, that slave mentality, the more you feel entitled, the more your ability to think your way out of your own situations is stunted, the more you lack the ability to the more you lack the ability to become a free person. Once again, my friends, there is a thin line between help and hindrance. And I didn't even tell you this, And so the longer that person is receiving help, welfare, and they develop that sense of entitlement, but they will lose appreciation for the help. You see what I'm saying? Entitlement and loss of appreciation goes hand in hand. A person that feels entitled has a diminishing appreciation for the help, because they don't see it as help. They see it as somebody else's obligation to help them. You see what I'm saying? The whole while you're killing the spirit of the person who's giving the help, person, entity, whatever. You know what I mean? The essence of the creation for the entity, or the reason behind giving the help, begins to corrode and metamorph into, something else other than what it was when the whole scenario began, for the simple fact that the dynamics of the situation is different. It's very hard to help someone who has a sense of entitlement to the help, to the extent that they lose appreciation for a person or entity giving that help. If you lose appreciation, then you also lose respect. So if it's a person, you can care less what sacrifices that person makes in order to provide that assistance. You know what I mean? So it's a very complex issue, and there's a thin line between help and hindrance. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Now what? You want another lesson in what? Another lesson in what? Huh? What you want to talk about now? Huh? Oh, me, man. We go on and on for days. Pico Rivera, California, right here. The boy done put down a message. Yep.